Wafu competition that's happening in Kumasi. We talked about it last week, and it's a big deal because, last week we gave the GFA their flowers for women's football. This morning when I woke up, one of the first things I saw when I got onto my phone eventually on Twitter were the photos of the way the girls were kitted. Charlie, look,
M for
Charlie, you see the way the girls they wear Puma and
no, I like it. Looking all spliff and speck.
Nah, I'm happy for the girls.
No, I'm happy.
Nah, I'm sure Ajab by all them are looking and saying,
Charlie.
Charlie.
What happened to us? That's a question. What happened to us?
Anyway, we can only go for it. No, I really like how, from up and down, they were wearing correct boots, correct shoes.
The combination was good.
Yeah. Let's speak to Ibrahim Sanidara. He is the director of communications for Wafu. And obviously, this tournament is the Under-20 Girls Wafu B Championship. Is starting in Kumasi tomorrow. Chief, good afternoon. Hello, Mr. Sanidara. Okay, I think we are not getting him. He should be on the line, but for some reason we are not getting him now. We'll try and get him for that one. But guys, Charlie, anybody here have some information on the Wafu? We talked about it. We know Benin, Cote d'Ivoire are coming into town. The Black Princesses, they didn't really, you meet Niger, you score them 11. You can't do that. It's a friendly match.
Gary,
yeah,
that's the best scoreline I've seen in my life.
I heard you telling Lexis Bill.
No, it's true.
Hold on, Gary.
Yeah.
Unless you want to go into the archives of Ghana football.
Yeah, there are plenty.
When Kwame Nkrumah sent the Black Stars go ahead in the Independence Day celebration of some.
Anyway,
and what they gave them, what, 4? Or was it 11-0?
I think 11-0 or so. Ibrahim Sanidara is on the line now. Ibrahim, thank you and good afternoon. Welcome to Gameplan.
Good afternoon, Gary. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we've been talking about this all week on, especially our Joy Sport, following the preparations, how the LOC has been saying that you are going to host a world-class event and all that. With just about 24 hours to go, how is it looking in Kumasi?
It's looking really good. All the teams have arrived. All the 7 teams participated in the tournament have arrived. We are yet to hit the stadium yet. We'll be doing it in 3 hours. And I'm sure that, like the LOC has perhaps maybe 20 girls tournament being organized regionally via the regional football associations. And also television coverage is far and above what the other regions have done. Based on the graphics of what we've seen and the preparations of what we've been told of the production of the matches, communicating back to our superiors at CAF, people seem to be very, very happy with what has been prepared on the ground so far.
Wicked. So, what makes this tournament special? And I noticed that it's being called the Under-20 Girls. I saw some people debating, but Under-20, are they girls or they are? Why don't you say Under-20 women, or they are girls?
Women or female. But still, you do have some girls in there, don't you?
Yes. So
you might have
post 20 is women.
Maybe female, maybe. But this was centrally decided. As you might be aware, a lot of these decisions for the regional tournament are directly taken by CAF. So the regional bodies have little wiggle room in changing or maintaining those names. So this is good feedback, and I think that if we raise these things, maybe the competitions departments at CAF would have a relook at it.
That was just by the way. On a more serious note, though, what does it mean for Ghana and our push? We were giving the GFA props for how they've given attention to women's football recently. What does it mean for this tournament also to be hosted here?
It means a lot. First of all, it tells you that there's ringing confidence in Ghana that Ghana is able to host good competitions. Secondly, it shows that the GFA is on the right path and it has, ticking all the boxes and trusted to host such competitions. If you look in this region, we have 7 countries, and normally they won't take a risk. CAF won't take a risk, or the region itself won't take a risk to send a competition, particularly in its maiden edition, to a country that's not trusted. Imagine that the tournament has gone to a country and then maybe for one reason or the other, the tournament is taken away. It just, destroys the reputation of the country and the confidence of the football industry in the country. This clearly shows it's a ringing endorsement of what Ghana is doing, the progress Ghana is making, particularly in women's football. The last time Ghana hosted a CAF competition was the under-17 boys. And when they left, even though the team itself did not perform to the expectation of all Ghanaians, but the feedback at the CAF level was that Ghana hosted a really good tournament. So when, this tournament came up for the running, it was clear. We have countries in this region with good stadiums like Ivory Coast, like Nigeria these days. Benin also have some new stadiums. So there was a debate among the leaders that among these countries, one of them should take it. And overwhelming majority of the people thought that it should come to and particularly the way the tournament is in the country and also outside the country. I met someone from CAF who had a link to the under-17 tournament who watched it. He called me aside and said, look, it looked like we were watching a tournament organized by CAF. The branding was good, the pitch was good, the spectating was, good. So for them, it was automatic that Ghana was a good choice for them.
Thank you, Ibrahim, and all the best. Good luck.
Thank you very much, Gary.
Yeah. And we'll be giving you, as usual, all the support that you need from our sister stations in Kumasi, Love FM in Shira, and even we here in Accra with Joy and Asempa as well. All the best.
Well done, Gary. Your focus on Ghanaian sports and Ghanaian football is well noted and well appreciated. It's the way to go, and your leadership is showing through clearly. Thank you very much, Gary.
Okay, so it's beginning. Under 20 guests, Wafu B Championship. The princesses are holding the flag for us, and we can only wish them the best. This is Game Plan. We are moving into another gear. My clock in the studio reads 13:33 GMT. All right, so I was just coming on air when I saw this quote from Jose Mourinho. Charlie, the man just like fight. Who has seen Jose Mourinho's quote? Who has seen it?
I'm not sure which one. I don't say what.
The only teams that don't suffer are those exceptional teams that have players worth 40 to 70 million euros on the bench.
Okay.
For example, Julian Alvarez, Phil Foden, and Riyad Mahrez entered yesterday. We lose 4 to 5 players and we suffer. Here at Roma, it's coming in because it's their turn. We invested 7 million euros in the market and we are in the final.
Yeah.
Therefore, what we did is extraordinary. Whose shade is this?
Pep.
Whose shade is this?
Pep.
Whose shade is this?
Pep.
Very unnecessary.
very factual.
It is not factual.
Very factual.
Phil Foden is an academy product. Julian Alvarez was less than 5 million. So what is he talking about between 40 and 70? Didn't he have the same money at Chelsea? Did he win the Champions League?
How much was American
Didn't he have a
Laporte?
super power team at Real Madrid?
How much
Did he
does
win the
American
Champions
Laporte?
League? He should enjoy his success and leave us alone.
The fact is, he spent
Enjoy his success and leave us alone. If he's a man, he should win the Europa. We'll win the Champions League and we'll meet in Super Cup. If he's a man, he should win.
The man
You want
spent
to
7
throw
million
this
euros net.
If he's a man, he should win.
Hey,
We are waiting for him at the Super Cup.
The Champions League have been
but you have not. Thank you. The Champions League is have no win
Charlie,
finish.
I say I operate in the prophetic. Do you want me to drop another one?
You wait.
No, man. Gotta make it do.
No, if you go do am, I go make you do am.
You can't
I want
rush
you.
the prophecy.
If you hear at the top. You don't want to do that thing.
What the prophet
Well, I
wants
will
to
do
renege
am.
on what he's saying.
When the time is right, the spirit will descend on you.
Okay, all right. Hey, but Jose too. What kind of shade with this one?
No. Sometimes, Jose,
he just needs to take part of the headline.
I know, man.
Manchester City are in the final. Come on, let's say something.
I mean,
Let me drop something in the middle.
It's been a while since Jose has been in the headline proper.
Yeah.
Wait,
Proper.
Yeah.
do you guys not think that what Jose have done with Roma this season
Yeah.
is bigger than what City have done?
Look, this morning it
No.
was a
When-
it was a hot topic
when
on
you
my
put-
on
when
my
you-
old school debate
when you
group.
put the
eh?
two,
hot,
when
hot,
you put the
hot,
two
hot.
side by side,
Yeah.
AS Roma, City have been building up to this for like 10 years.
Okay.
Roma have been nowhere near this for the last, if you like, 5 years or so. They've only had one season up and then down, up and then down. Jose comes. Last year, they win in Europe. This year, it's another cup final with virtually no budget, expired players. So what I'm not saying that Mourinho is better than Pep. I don't think so at the moment.
Yeah.
But what he's achieved with Roma this season,
Yeah.
when you put it side by side in context, the fact that he's not had the luxury to build a team of his own because there are no fans, I think it's a remarkable achievement by Jose.
But the Roma team was not it's a decent team. It's not exactly cheap.
It's cheap.
It's the most expensive team in the Europa League
You are
this
in a
season.
tournament
No,
where your
it's not.
teams are on
They
your
play
same
Juve.
level.
No, wait.
You are going to the final. You want to compare
No,
that
wait.
to Pep Guardiola.
Wait.
As somebody said,
That team is
Europa League, they play with teams where they get biblical names.
No, and that is why it is Roma.
Thessaloniki and teams.
That is why it is Roma. That's why I'm saying that when you put it side by side,
Yeah.
that Roma team is cheap. Matic is free. He won't play in any top team in Europe again. No team
See,
wanted
the
Dybala.
context is Europa. Situ.
That's what I'm saying.
So by Leverkusen,
Yes.
have they been building up to this moment?
No, they've not. That's what I'm saying. That when you Roma, City have been building up like this.
No,
is
you see,
Roma.
you can't compare the
no,
metrics
no,
of
the
Champions League to
comparison
that
you're
of
trying to
Europa.
do is where I
So
find
the
it
fact
very
that you've
difficult.
woken up and you've gone to Europa semi-final, you can't equate that to Champions. Okay, I beat the owners 4-0. 4-0.
Wait.
4.
City have been there before.
No.
On their way to
Real
the final-
Madrid doesn't lose semi-finals by 4 goals to
No,
0.
I mean
They
score
don't lose
different.
4-0.
They score, but Roma don't even play
I
in
didn't
European
just beat
finals.
Real Madrid. I
Roma,
started them.
Roma, they don't play in European finals. It doesn't matter where it's
But
conference league.
Manchester City also don't play in European
They've been there before.
once.
But they are there again.
But last season you won.
That's
The
what
one
I'm
I went there, I didn't even win.
That's what I'm saying. That's what Jose has done with them. One
No,
Europe.
Sicho.
Roma don't win things. Listen,
31 years.
Yes.
Sicho,
It's like Fiorentina that are in the final.
it's
after
like
33
Fiorentina
years.
that. So I'm not saying that Mourinho has coached better than Pep.
No,
But I'm saying that the magnitude of what Jose has done with this Roma team.
this season.
When you
Danny, do you agree?
when you
No,
put
in
he's
the
what-
history,
no,
in
what-
the history of Manchester City,
Yes.
the first time they made a semi-final
Yeah.
was Pellegrini's last season.
yes.
In the history of Manchester City,
Yes.
Yeah.
is that team a European powerhouse?
No,
you're talking about powerhouses too.
Pep has come in.
He's not talking about
He's
power.
done semi-final.
No,
Yes.
but
He's
Sitso's
done
words, to be
final.
fair.
No, we are comparing the two. So
Yes.
we are comparing. Okay, you are comparing last season and this season.
Yes.
Yes, and
Roma.
Jose
And
has
I'm
been there for the last
comparing-
2 seasons.
And I'm comparing last 3 seasons, Manchester City. Pep has come.
No, Pep came. He did round of 16th.
Round of
16th. Round of 16th again.
Then he did
semis,
semi-final, final, semi.
Credit to him. Jose came. That's a final. That's a final again. And I'm saying that. I'm not saying Mourinho has coached better than Pep or is a better coach.
True.
I won't say it.
Yes.
It's not even true at the moment. But what Jose has done with what he has at Roma, when he puts it on the scale, and what Pep has done with City this season, City being in the final is not a surprise this season.
It is.
Because in the last 3 years they've been in and about it. That has been their level.
It's a surprise.
In the last 3 years.
Faced Real Madrid in
Roma
the
getting into the Europa League final, nobody saw it coming.
Okay.
Like last season, only last season they were Europa
Gary,
League.
so
they
Daniel-
were only
Daniel-
Europa League.
Gary,
Daniel Muftawu, hold on.
this comparison
No, let's
is
let's
completely
show.
out of the window for me.
So
You are looking at 2 different competitions, 2 different teams coming up against opponents of different quality. In the
We know
UEFA
that.
Champions League,
We know that.
in the UEFA Champions League, the kind of opposition you play, you cannot compare the
But
way you
UEFA
play in the
Champions League,
Europa
the
League.
amount of money you have.
You cannot
to also
compare the way
match
you
up with
play in
the-
the Conference League.
We are not comparing. You don't get the basis. The basis is this: what City have done in the Champions League.
You are looking at it
It is
from the
Champions
European
League.
level.
Not the European level. I'm looking at it from impact based on the club and where they are or where they were coming into this season. I'm saying that Pep's Man City have been in and around the Champions League semi-final consistently in the last 3 seasons. They've been in and around. They've been consistent. Roma have not. Last season they won the Europa League, and that was the Europa League, the Conference League. This season they're in the final of the Europa League, and I'm saying that it's a significant because when you weigh it, where Roma have been, the fact that they've not been anywhere near this, and all of a sudden 2 back-to-back European finals, it's a huge achievement for the level of Roma. For the level of City in the context of this year, In the last 3 years, they've been in and around it. Last year, they lost out narrowly. Only 2 years ago, they were in the final. And this year, they're in the final. So they've been about the most consistent Champions League team in Europe in the last 3 years. In the last 3 years, they've been about the most. Even Madrid.
So if you contextualize it
That's
like
what
that,
I'm saying. Yes, I'm not comparing the two teams.
But if you want to compare the competitions and the success of Jose Mourinho compared to that of Pep Guardiola, it's completely different.
I'm not comparing the
completely
competitions.
different things.
I'm comparing the impact of the success. The impact of the success. And I'm saying that for Roma, this is huge.
Okay, so
City-
Sicho, your point is at this
Yeah.
point, we will let our listeners also weigh in.
Fantastic.
All right, we are on Twitter, we are streaming. I didn't get time to do that in my intro. We are streaming on Facebook, and so Shikome, one of the biggest Hits FM listeners, was asking why we're always on Facebook. We are always streaming on Facebook. That's on the Joy 997 page, but we are also cross streaming on the Joy Sports page. If you check my page, I've shared the link. I'm sure Danny on your Facebook page as well. Sicho, please do that on your Facebook page, Muftawu as well. Which we are sharing the link, right? Our own is not 12 midnight.
It is done.
Our own is not 12 midnight, but we are sharing the link. So please share the link. Share the link. Share the link. We are streaming on Twitter Spaces also, and we are. You will find this podcast if for some reason you can't get it now. After the show, just about an hour after, you can get the audio version to download and listen on your jogs or whatchamacallit, or you can watch the video again on YouTube just about an hour after we are done. You can now text on WhatsApp as we have begun the argument. What do you think of the magnitude of what Jose Mourinho has done in the last season or two versus what Pep has done in the last season or two with Roma and Manchester City respectively in Europe? My question again, the National Science and Maths quiz.
Yes.
Question of the day.
Question of the day. That's the question of
That's
the
the
day.
question of the day. What's the tune for the National Science and Maths? So, Sicho School, Danny Grantin School, this is your question of the day. What do you think of the magnitude of what Jose Mourinho has done with Roma in Europe this season versus what Pep Guardiola has done with Manchester City this season? You have 10 minutes. Start work. So the number to text is 0302-216-541. 0302-216-541. That's how you can. Oh no, that's how to call. Sorry. 055-1111-997. That's the WhatsApp line. 055-1111-997. Please, that's a WhatsApp line. You can text in and let's hear your thoughts. But today, the main meal, just so that time does not chop us, is this.
Well, Pepe, without question, has got a fantastic work ethic about him, and he demands that from all his training sessions. So anyone who thinks they're not going to work hard, say it won't last long. I'm sure of that. And he has got a great coaching abilities, no doubt about that. It's interesting because it'll be difficult actually to replicate what he did at Barcelona, because it is wonderful little triangle of players, Xavi, Iniesta and Messi. I mean, Xavi and Iniesta, without doubt, they were the best. When I had that great player, Scholes, and I looked at these two, that's exactly what I saw. That ability to control the middle of the pitch, their first touch on the ball, their angle of passes, they were great. They were fantastic. And Messi combining in between them, that he's never going to get that again. But at Bayern, not having as good a players, has still created some fantastic success, and I think that obviously Man City have done a real coup in getting him because he is an outstanding coach. But Pepe won't find it as easy. English football is not easy. And every foreign coach has come to England will tell you that. Arsene Wenger, after a few months, he was talking about that. Even Jose, when he came after his first season, he realised that what he achieved was hard work. So it will be a success. I don't think it'll ever replicate what he did at Barcelona, but that's a high standard. They were the best. I mean, I had to face it twice in the European final, having to see what I could do with Xavi and Iniesta. That carousel of passing they've got, you know, and you never touch the ball for about 3 or 4 minutes. And when you get it, they're on top of you. You know, it was a great system.
So that's Sir Alex Ferguson speaking before Pep Guardiola started his job at Manchester City. Now, there are 2 key things he acknowledged. He said at Bayern, 3 key things. He said at Barca, I mean, they did out-of-the-world things. At Bayern, he did not have such consistency and quality, but they still did great stuff. And 3, he didn't think that Pep will replicate what he did at Barca at Manchester City. Now, how many years down the line, I'm sure as part of your for and against argument as to whether Sir Alex Ferguson is a greater manager than Pep Guardiola, this will also figure. Meanwhile, we got this from Danny Mills on the argument about Pep versus Sir Alex Ferguson, the former English international.
You have to start working out what you mean by the greatest. Are we talking about purely number of times you win it? Are you talking about length as well? How well you do over a number of years? You have to say, you know, what Arsene Wenger did probably in his first 15 years or so was exceptional. You know, it was absolutely, probably until he moved to the Emirates, you know, was absolutely unbelievable. You know, what he did there. Fergie, I mean, 13 wins, 26 years, that's some record. Is that ever going to be beaten? I don't think so, if I'm honest. Also, you have to look at what Ferguson did. Won it 3 times in a row? How many times did they do the double? You know, did they win it back to back? You should know. You're a Man United fan.
A number of times.
Yeah, but so again, so I think to overtake Sir Alex, I think you're a way off that at the moment. People will talk about the style and the brand of football and the way he's changed things. Yes, granted, given that. Would he have been able to do that 10 years ago, play this sort of style? Like he was playing when he was first at Barcelona in the Premier League back then? No, I don't think he would have done. I don't think it would have worked because the game was too physical and referees used to let you get away with all sorts. And most of his teams would have been kicked off the park trying to play like that. Now you can't tackle people. So, you know, and when that first season he came in...
That Barcelona team did okay against English sides, Chelsea, Manchester United.
Right, Daddy Mills weighing in on that. So let's come into the studio. Last week before we finished, Danny and Sitcho gave us their opening salvos. And if I recall correctly, Danny was Team Pep all the way. Sitcho was Sir Alex Ferguson. Muftawu was supposed to be Team Ferguson, right? No, Team Pep.
Team Pep. How
Team
can
Pep,
I support Ferguson?
and I was supposed to be Sir Alex Ferguson. The man who gave us the portions is not here. Fento Tahiru. We were just there and he just WhatsApp us and said, come and talk this one. He is not here. He is somewhere. He's chilling.
Is that a message? He said, assemble all your agenda against Ferguson.
You know what Fento will do was to pitch. As I said, Charlie, come and kill them.
Come and kill them. No mind.
That's what he
told me. He said, Charlie, you know if he makes it, you'll finish you.
He said that the king will get more for, so come and kill him.
Anyway, so we want to know, guys. So the arguments are many. Some of you want to debate the whole Jose Mourinho impact versus Pep impact in the last 2 seasons. So let me begin from there. Then I start taking your comments which are coming on Pep versus Alex Ferguson. Hope in Odumasi Krobo says to Sitcho, why are you not getting it? And that's Danny is right. Despite
No. Why are you not getting Sitcho?
Why are you not getting Sitcho?
Why are you not getting Sitcho?
He's
He
right.
is right.
Yes.
Despite the
I
fact
eat
that
and drink Barca.
despite the
Barcelona.
fact that I eat and drink Barcelona,
Correct
he
for
believes
10
that Roma have done a better job under Jose Mourinho in the year under review. This one is from you didn't give us your name, Chief, but let me read it. I support what Sitcho is saying all day. What Jose is doing is much more than what Pep is doing at City. Abanga Isifu from Baku. For Lampard, he's just a. I can't read
The room said they down.
Okay. Abanga Isifu from Baku says, Massa, don't compare Jose to Pep. Pep is super in the world now.
Oh, we are not
You see, that's not what we are
Yeah,
talking
we are
about.
not comparing them,
Uh-huh.
yes. As for that
Because
one,
otherwise,
as for that one, some way.
some way. You didn't give us your name. Gary, good afternoon. I want to prove to Sitcho that Roma has been building up to this. Roma has been very consistent in the Champions League. 2018, remember, yeah. and
Against
let me just
Barcelona,
add this.
that comeback.
The-
That yes, that
Yes.
one big thing they will play some good states and when AC and Inter were not some way.
Don't
Charlie,
forget
just
what they
went
did to
up.
Barcelona.
Eh-heh.
This team has played in the Champions League quarter and
It's a
semi-final.
completely different team.
They are actually playing guys below their league. Okay, so that goes to buttress Danny's point. Mourinho and Pep cannot be compared. This is from Danny from Afienya. He says, in terms of their respective squads, I will personally give it to Mourinho. He's a fantastic coach. Ampon from Cantonment says, Pep has been building this team for things like this since the first day he walked into the tunnel at the Etihad. This is the level they are supposed to play at. The real question is this. If City had failed in the Champions League consistently with this team, and Mourinho had also failed to reach back-to-back finals with this Roma team, who would have been quickly referred to as a failure, or better said, as an underperformer? Pep is great, but Jose makes it happen with what he has, and that is incredible. That is Ampon from Cantonment. Yo, Gary R. Smith, what's up? What's up to you too? This is Hot Tea Bread. That's the name of the person who has sent it.
Hot tea.
It got vibes.
It's a tea bread.
He said his name is Hot Tea
Tea
Bread.
bread.
And he has written, oh, Chale, with eagles. Now to his main comment. Jose Mourinho, aka the special one, does not need money to win cups for a club like the way that fraud guy called Pep always wants. The special one did do wonders with Porto, Inter, and he's now doing it at Roma. So please pardon my take. But
Pardon your take, Porto. Porto, pardon your take.
Yes, you take
Pardon your take.
Chale, you do all.
today, no pardon, I
No
take.
pardon
Take
my
it.
take. Tea bread.
Give that a party by take for us.
Make I read them
I'll
again.
say anything.
He said the special one did do wonders with Porto, Inter, and now he's doing it at Roma. So please pardon my take.
Fantastical.
But Mourinho is by far better than Pep, the fraud guy, because Pep can never win the Conference League set with Roma.
Hey, Charlie,
Hey,
this thing, if the guy himself read it.
Like you go be brutal.
Because the way the guy typed the thing,
You
if you are
know,
reading
type
it
of
like
blue.
this, you are reading his voice.
The hat, it takes put inside before it type of Charlie.
Stanley from Achimota says, hello Gary. Let's not forget that Carlo Ancelotti's Real Madrid went to the Allianz Arena and thrashed Pep's Bayern Munich 4-0 in the 2014 semi-final.
Oh, yeah, fuck it.
Let's not forget last year's semi-final also. So yes, Carlo Ancelotti has also thrashed Pep before.
And this one goes to Danny.
Yes.
Take him.
I am Bismarck from Kweu Asakra. What? From Kweu Asakraka. This one is a thesis. This one is a thesis. I think Pep has done really well and he deserves the credit for what he's done. However, I think what Jose has done with Roma has a slight impact over Pep's City, and these are my reasons.
Thank you.
Number
What
one.
to say has done
see-
is slight.
You see,
Charlie,
when you're
No.
when you're doing your project
See,
work
do you know why?
and you write 1.1,
1.1.
1.2.
But do you know why I like our listeners? Hey, they be intellectual.
they are the
but-
same. They are the same. See, this show.
And I like it.
This show.
Forget.
You can't come and say something basa like
But
that. They will roast you.
Look at you.
But do you know the tagline of this station? Discerning people are
This
listening.
yeah.
Discerning people are listening.
You come and say something. They will.
So wait, one,
S for Seho.
S for Seho,
Let's go.
B for Betikbo.
That's it.
And
All right.
if
So Bismarck says his first reason is one. Pep's City has been consistent in Europe for the past 6 years. The first three, they were in the quarterfinal. The last three, they have been in the semi. Two, for the past 3 years, Pep City have been favorites to win the Champions League. That is, what they have been doing has always been expected of them. But they somehow managed to slip. Three, all these can't be said about Roma. They have never been favorites, but they are winning. Four, Mourinho has used fewer years to achieve this feat.
Shall I invite the guy who can't take my seat? I'm not going to do this.
What be the name again? Gotta go back to the name. We need the name again.
The name was Bismarck.
Bismarck.
From Kwewu Asakraka.
Bismarck, please come studio. Come take
studio.
security seat.
Please. In fact, normally there are 4 people who sit there. So there's a seat for you. Kojo Adenta says, why didn't the Eagle guy mention his spell at Madrid? Yeah.
Before it was a selective.
Selective, yeah.
Guy, you know the thing where somebody is your friend there.
Yeah.
So you don't want to score them.
Yeah.
That's what I'm quiet.
Oh no, but
Jose is my very good friend.
but before Jose got to
Madrid,
If we go there,
4 years running,
No.
they are not crossed the last 16. Jose went there 3 years continuous semi-final.
Semi-final.
That is an
it
upgrade.
was Jose who broke that semi-final.
But for Jose, Pep would have won
came and win
La Liga and
the
Copa del Rey.
Ah.
Oh, like you have won, like you have done to the La Liga. What is that doing to the
And
field?
in fact, in Jose's last 2 seasons at Real Madrid, he dominated Barcelona.
Yeah.
That was where he was playing the likes of Alvaro
That's
Morata
false.
and Co. And
that is false. That is very false. That is very false. Jose spent 3 seasons in
Real
La
Madrid.
Liga.
Yes.
He won the league once. So you don't tell me his last 2 seasons he dominated Barcelona.
That
first
season
season took 5.
Oh, relax. Yes, he
His
took
first
5.
season he took
Yes, he
5.
took 5.
They gave him
Understandable. He
And
gave
he
him
was
5.
chewing. He was chewing his nails. They gave him 5.
Relax,
You see,
Danny.
Jose is my friend.
Relax,
So me, I don't
Danny.
want to-
Do
guys
you
go
recall
see.
the season he
I don't want
was
to go there.
playing Alvaro Morata and Co?
I don't.
He will go to Camp Nou and beat them and come back to Bernabeu and give it to him again. Forget.
See
Pep.
that Barca team. That
How many
Yeah.
times did
that
Jose
Barca
beat
team that
Pep?
even Fergie is saying that he's not sure Pep can replicate again.
Yeah.
For Jose to have won the league against them, the
That's
guy
right.
is on.
Yes.
Bro,
But wait. You see, you boy, you are funny. Even your statement is proving how good you see Pep. Because Jose,
no.
Let me learn.
That Barcelona
Jose
team.
Mourinho, oh, you relax. Jose Mourinho had Benzema. He had Di Maria. He had Cristiano Ronaldo. He had Kaka.
Yeah.
You are sitting here and telling me that for Mourinho to beat Pep, then he has done something. Then
that Pep
that,
team.
then you really rate Pep. Then you really rate
that
Pep.
Pep team.
No, for a whole Jose Mourinho
That Pep
to be in
team-
charge of a whole
Charlie,
Real
Charlie,
Madrid,
that Pep team.
consider the amount of money
Danny,
they spend
Danny,
on
Danny,
top players.
Danny,
Yes.
no.
What are you telling me?
I'm trying to say.
You see,
Danny,
you've even forced your host to have an opinion and disagree.
No. My job is to provide some context.
Yeah.
Look, that Pep team,
that Pep team.
in history, not even in the last 10 to in the history of football.
Gary, let me tell you
Then let's
something.
not go there.
Gary,
Because
let me
I've
tell
won the
you.
debate.
No, you've not won it. I'm talking about Premier League.
If that Pep team
We are talking about Premier League. I'm talking about that
so
Pep
much
team.
so that a whole Jose Mourinho in charge of Real Madrid, who have the GOAT, Cristiano Ronaldo, Benzema, Di Maria, Sergio Ramos,
But the other goat was
all
in
these
Barcelona.
boys, and you are telling me that for
no.
Mourinho to win that one season, it is such huge credit to him. Then I'm finished the
See,
debate.
Gary.
Then I'm
No,
finished.
no, but you go there. I like this
Sitsofe.
Pep is a
See,
goat.
that Pep team, that Pep team. When you are old enough and the grey is coming,
Yeah.
we'll catch the baby.
We'll catch
I like
the
the
baby.
way
We'll sit them around,
Uh-huh.
and we'll tell them the story that there was a team in our generation that could play 100% possession. Nobody would touch the ball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They,
Do you recall, Gary, do you recall
Make your point and then let me read
Inter
it.
Milan versus Barcelona?
Yeah.
When Inter Milan defeated Barcelona and made it to the semi of the
Sure.
UEFA Champions League in 2010.
Yeah.
What team was that?
Do you remember the 5-0?
No, we remember. You see, we can
it's
put
a
two
recollection.
inside.
No, you see, simple.
Yeah.
Go to that period. Check the head to head. You can't tell me you dominated. Check the head to head. Me, at that, everybody knows me. Oh, me, when it comes to Pep Guardiola, Gary, I am so who
That
became
very
Paul.
season.
I am so
Gary,
who became
that
Paul.
very
At that
season.
time, I didn't like Pep. I couldn't stand him. But I reached a point in my life, you see, Saul, when the light hit him and he couldn't see, you understand?
Yeah.
The light hit him, I said, salute. The thing is there.
You mean the Damascus
You can't,
moment?
you can't hate
see,
the goat.
see.
You can't.
No,
You
Danny
pass areas,
is
you
getting
talk,
everything
but you
wrong.
can't hate the
That
goat.
very season, Pep Guardiola defeated Barcelona 5-0.
Yeah.
When it mattered most, when there was a trophy in front of them.
So the league was, there's no trophy.
Relax,
The league, they
relax.
give flowers.
I'm done.
The league, they give flowers.
No, Danny, hold on.
That was
Let
a
me
long.
start
It's
A marathon,
It's a marathon.
not a sprint.
When it mattered most, when there was a trophy in front of them, the Copa del Rey final, Cristiano Ronaldo scored the only goal in that season. The goal. And Real Madrid won that Copa del Rey.
So, Muftawu, I understand you.
Yes,
But
so
that-
it's
you know,
like that. So why
You know why Danny the funny me? Danny is so conflicted because on one hand,
No, you see, that's why I said I don't want to go there.
he has to defend Pep who he likes with Cristiano Ronaldo who he likes against Jose Mourinho who he likes.
with Pep Guardiola's Man City, when he's a Man U fan.
Yes. It's a way.
Your life is complicated.
No.
Anyway, Anyway, some of the comments are coming. Now get ready for another thesis comment. And for listeners, look, I really appreciate that you are taking time to sit down and write these very nuanced and intelligent comments. You know, it separates you from the rest. And thank you. And it makes the show what it is. This one is from Charlie.
Charlie, but
Charlie. Frank Kamal, look, we like the fact that you send us intelligent, but what you have written, by the time I finish,
the short answer finish.
Yes. So you let me begin.
So it's a letter.
Frank Karim has sent this book. This book.
He said this book. Okay, say pamphlet.
Magnitude between the two performances. The most coveted club trophy is the Champions League. You need to play the best teams. The Europa League is for the second string teams.
Yes.
Now, if you play in the Europa League, it means you are not there yet.
That's your level.
You are average. You are not good. You can't compete with the best. So go play with the average teams. That's where your strength is. So if a football fanatic says Mourinho's achievements have higher magnitude than Pep's, then I don't know. Talk inside the microphone.
That's my guy.
His name is Frank Kamal.
Frankie.
So he's continuing with part 2 of the book. Someone plays Bayern, Madrid, and routes to the final, losing none, shipping just 2 goals and scoring 9 goals in the 4 games. How do you compare such an achievement to somebody who played Salzburg, Sociedad, and Feyenoord?
My stomach is.
But that's his level.
Hold on. There's no debate here, he says. They say Roma had not made a European final in 30 plus years. But City also had not made the Champions League final until Pep came.
Thank you.
Is that not an even bigger achievement? Money? Mourinho had the Galacticos, and what happened? He had the money of Abramovich, and we saw him got sacked twice. Mourinho's failures have sent him to Roma.
Simple.
Frank Kamal. And shout out to Karim, my friend.
Sweet Karim.
Hold on.
That's why I didn't want to go to.
Frank Kamal is a GIA student. Give me his number.
This is why I didn't want to go to. There's a reason Mourinho is in Roma.
No, Daniel.
There's a reason he's at Roma.
Frank.
He failed at Man United. Even Tottenham sacked him. Nobody wanted him again, and he's going to Roma.
Tottenham sacked him when he was going to win a trophy.
When he was going to play,
he was going to win a trophy.
Face Pep Guardiola, and they said, "Boga, we know you need, so you will do." Simple.
Anyway, all right. So guys, we have Sir Alex Ferguson and Pep, but the comments here.
But these are given it alone.
Yeah. No. Today we have time. That's why we started early. Even if we start at 2:30, we'll finish on time. Let's read more of the comments. Is it Ima from Pone or Emma? I think it's Emmanuel from Pone. Says, good afternoon, guys. I think Roma has done a great job under Mourinho with less years in charge, unlike Pep, who had to build his team for almost 7 to 8 years. If the so-called big teams that Mourinho failed at, that is Real Madrid and Manchester United, had allowed him to play his system, which brought the glories to Chelsea, Porto, Inter, and now Roma, it would have been a success also. That is Ima from Pone's take. Good afternoon, Gary and brothers. This is Don Askia from Malam. Mourinho is fantastic, but Pep is just marvelously fantastic. He makes football look worth watching. Wait. Let me see your DP.
Just a correct DP like that.
Let me see.
Hard guy.
Oh my God! See me, Shire.
So, you see, because it's radio, it's a descriptive medium.
Thank you.
Now, Don, you see your name crying, your DP crying. Don Askia from Malam. So Don Askia's DP, it is a man in a swimming pool.
In a swimming pool.
With a lady on the side of the swimming pool. And the lady is in a bikini.
Oh, Chale.
And the lady is in some shorts.
Oh, Chale.
And the woman is holding.
Oh, Chale.
It's okay.
You see.
It's not okay. It's not okay.
And the woman
is not okay.
And the man is showing something on the woman on her mouth.
Oh, Chale.
And the woman is showing the man something on
Don
his mouth.
Askia.
Don Askia from Malam. We are champions.
You see the energy of Danny.
Huh?
Danny said, we don't even get girlfriends. Yeah, they do.
That's why I'm happy.
That's why he's happy. Now another comment. You didn't give us your name, champ. Please give us your name. Ampon from Cantonment is back. He says, Pep is second on this list. He has given us a list to download. Pep is second on this list, but has the least signing among these. He spends bigly to make it happen. So the list he has given us is, let me read it, the highest spending managers in football history. And this is from Transfer Market. Jose Mourinho has spent the most, 1.85 billion euros over 116 players. So he has used 1.85 billion euros to sign 116 players. Pep Guardiola has signed 74 players with 1.79 billion. Carlo Ancelotti, wow, I would never have guessed it. With 90 players, he has used 1.49 billion euros to sign 90 players. So that is his argument, that Jose Mourinho has spent more than Pep Guardiola.
But it means that Jose was signed like players who are not good. 146 players. Why?
Because he was rebuilding teams.
What?
Pep
Yes,
has.
that is very false. That is very
That
false.
was-
See, Gary, I beg, the thesis I have here against Sir Alex Ferguson, if we start, we'll trigger the Man United fans, which I want to do, because there's been some serious falsehoods in the world of football. I don't want to touch Jose. Jose is my very good friend. You understand? I don't want to touch Jose. So you let's deal with Ferguson. Maybe with time, the Jose people will humble themselves. Because you see, the message is clear. The good news is there. Why don't you want to accept it? Why? It's clear. Why don't you want to accept it?
What the guy has said.
It's clear.
Just signing more players with that amount of money. If you do the ratio to the number of players, and when you also put it in context, the place where Jose has been, he's normally been in place where he's building teams.
He's had to create his identity into
Pep
teams.
has been to at least 2 places where he's had a settled team or he's called players from his academy, like in Barca.
Yeah.
He's using Busquets, he's using, the boys that are there,
Yeah.
Lionel Messi. He didn't have to spend so
When
much.
he came, he had
when
to do away
when
the
he went
likes
to
of
Bayern Munich,
Julie,
it was a more
Abdulai and
settled
co.
team. Didn't have to spend much. Jose went to Chelsea, he had to spend because he was building something else. He went to Real Madrid, they were building their new set of Galacticos. He came to Man United, he had to rebuild after, LVG. So you have to put all of that into. I don't buy the you are spending money thing, because the assignments are different.
Yeah.
The assignments are very. If another manager comes to take over from Ten Hag, if he doesn't spend money, he's not serious. On this Man United team,
You spend
So
money.
there's- yeah.
Hello,
Every manager will spend money.
hello, Joy Game Plan. Barbara from Tema. Hi, Barbara. As the biggest citizen in Ghana, Frankie has just made my day. Oh, Frank Kamal, with his argument. Please, Gary, this is Natalia. Is Natalia around? She has been missed from Mutala. I don't know who Natalia is.
Oh!
Who is Natalia?
No, I understand.
So you understand?
No, guy, your friend
Danny.
Danny.
Why are you pointing at me?
You. Where's Natalia?
Who is Natalia? Sidro, do you know who Natalia is? Michelle, do you know who Natalia is?
No, we don't know who Natalia. Mutala, please, from Asamangesi. I'm sure it's Mutala.
No, we all know Natalia.
I'm very confused.
Mutala, please send us further and better particulars. Hi, Gary. I'm Prince from McCarthy Hill. Please, was it the same Pep that eliminated Jose from the 2010-2011 Champions League?
Yes, the same Pep.
Yeah.
If Pep had the experience that Jose had right from his days at Barcelona, Pep would have been unstoppable, even with those few years from 2008.
I mean,
Again,
but
we are not
just
comparing
before
the
that,
two. Again, we are not comparing the
Jose
two.
also knocked him out and won the 2010 Champions League. Final.
Again, we are not comparing the two.
We are not comparing the two.
Yeah.
Coco Ninja from Osua sent us this. He says, "Hello, Joy Sports. Man United fans are very scared because Man City are about to break 2 of their cherished records they chalked under Ferguson.
Charlie,
Winning the treble this season and winning the Premiership back to back to back. Coco Ninja
this place
in
here, guys.
Osu. Which brings me to the point.
I agree that I believe Pep Guardiola is the best coach ever.
Fergie earned the right to spend the money.
What this man's doing is crazy. But it burns me.
All right, guys. The Jose and the Pep set the tone for our main agenda. That was just a first course. Now this is the main meal. The context is that, of course, Manchester City have shown an unprecedented. You see, they are the team of the year anywhere in the world. We know that. But to beat the team of the century the way they have in the semi-final of the Champions League is something special. And they did that with revenge on their minds. Now we know. the pain of last season is what spurred them on to do what they did to Real Madrid. Danny, as your reward for predicting that Manchester City will beat Real Madrid in the second leg by 4-0, please, Pep versus Sir Alex Ferguson, who is the greatest manager of all time?
First of all, Gary, I want to say thank you for my stone. For somebody to sit in the studios of Joy FM in Kokomlemle
Accra, Ghana,
and boldly say that Manchester City will score 4 goals in the second leg and beat Real Madrid by 4-0. It's crazy. But when you operate in the prophetic, when you say some things, oh my God,
amen,
it has come true. Now they are looking at me. You are looking at me and waiting for explanations. When they reached the semi-final, Ancelotti was there calling Maldini that see you in Istanbul. You are not serious. You are going to face Pep Guardiola and you are telling somebody in the other semi-final, see you in Istanbul. They'll sit in the stands and watch us play the final. We've prepared 2 seats for them at Istanbul, the presidential 2. They will sit there, Maldini and Ancelotti, and they will watch us play the final. And we'll lift the trophy in front of them. Gary, when I finish this submission, they are going to revoke my Manchester United supporters forms. I'm telling you. Because Ferguson is about to be exposed. Let's remove narratives, okay? And let's look at facts. Facts can never be changed. Narratives, they change over and over and over and over again. Let me give you an example. When Jose Mourinho came to the Premier League in his first 2 seasons, there was this crazy narrative. Wenger said it, Fergie said it. He's buying the league. Chelsea were buying the league. Today we are sitting here, Mourinho can create teams. He can. You see the way it has changed? Mm-hmm. So let's look at facts. There's this false narrative about Sir Alex Ferguson that he won his trophies with academy graduates and average players. A big lie. A big lie. Sir Alex Ferguson literally monopolized the Premier League because of the spending and financial power he had at Manchester United. And the records are there. It's clear. I will not lie to you. Let's start from 1989. Oh, I'm not talking about 2000 and something. 1989.
The year Arsenal won the league.
He bought Mark Hughes. Mark Hughes had left Manchester United to Barcelona. He brought him back for £1.8 million. That was the second most expensive transfer in British history. The same year, he broke the British record of transfer. He brought Gary Pallister for £2.9 million. So in the same season, the same transfer window, he has done second most expensive and most expensive. 3 years down the line, Roy Keane, £3.7 million, British record transfer. So Fergie broke his own British record transfer and signed Roy Keane from Nottingham Forest to Manchester United. Now, the story behind Roy Keane's transfer from Nottingham to Man United is a very interesting one because it buttresses my points and shows you how Man United had crazy financial power and could literally walk and bully any team to surrender their best players. And I intentionally didn't take the transfer story from any other site. I took it from the Manchester United site. Now United, I think a couple of years ago, they decided to be giving us backstories of some of their transfers. They didn't know they were exposing themselves. But let me start. It says in the summer of this is from Man United's website.
ManUnited.com.
In the summer of '93, Nottingham Forest firebrand Roy Keane was one player every team wanted to sign. Operating as a box-to-box midfielder or even a centre half at times, at the age of 21, he looked every inch of a world-class performer in the making. Arsenal were long-time suitors, but Blackburn Rovers moved into poor position and they actually thought they had brokered a deal. Keane even agreed to move to Rovers after shaking hands with Kenny Dalglish, who was the then manager of Blackburn Rovers. He had given him his word. Now this is where it gets interesting. The bully, Sir Alex Ferguson, called Roy Keane, and there's a quote, "I agreed a deal and shook hands with him." That is Roy Keane speaking now. He said, "I went back to Cork and on Sunday morning woke up and I got a phone call. Sir Alex told me come to my house and we'll meet for talks tomorrow. That was it. Nottingham Forest, Blackburn Rovers didn't have £3.7 million to pay. So Roy Keane had to go to the team that had money. 2 years later, Manchester United set another record transfer. Andy Cole from Newcastle United. The season after Andy Cole had set the 34 goals in a season, the record that Haaland just broke. He was the best striker in England at the time. He and Alan Shearer. And you people all know the stories. Fergie wanted both of them. And he ended up having to settle for Andy Cole for £7.5 million. Then British record transfer deal. The following season, Ferguson goes to Norway, goes to buy Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, makes him the most expensive Norwegian transfer at the time, and brings him to Manchester United. The same season, Ferguson goes to Tottenham Hotspur. And if you know at the time, let me just paint the picture for you. Fergie now has Andy Cole, he now has Solskjaer, there was Alan Shearer, there was Teddy Sheringham. They were the hottest strikers in the Premier League at the time. Ferguson goes to Tottenham and tells them, hey, surrender Sheringham because I want to win another title. Tottenham said no. And they said if Man United wanted to sign Sheringham, they needed to pay £6 million. The records are there and they are clear. Sheringham then came out and made his transfer request public. So it forced Tottenham Hotspur's hand to half the price. And he left Tottenham Hotspur to Manchester United for £3.5 million. So now, Ferguson has Solskjaer, he has Cole, he has Sheringham. And this is a man who plays two strikers. So it means one of them is sitting on the bench. But this is somebody who was winning with average players, right? Let's continue. The following year, Dwight York was breaking. Look, he was banging in goals for fun at Aston Villa. One of the best strikers in the Premier League. New image top striker in the Premier League. What did Ferguson do? £13 million. The second most expensive transfer in Britain at the time. Second only to Alan Shearer from Blackburn to Newcastle. Ferguson went to bring him. So now, Ferguson's Manchester United had 3 of the top 4 strikers in the Premier League, all in his team.
Most expensive, yeah.
Most expensive too. That is cool. The same season, but look, this one is so interesting. After buying Dwight York, literally the following week, Gary, the following week, Jaap Stam from PSV Eindhoven, £15 million, joint with Alan Shearer, another record. 2 years later, Fabien Barthez goes to buy him straight after Euro 2000, makes him the most expensive goalkeeper of all time at the time.
Yeah.
Now, at 2000, I'll take a break and just give you some context. When you look at the top spenders in the Premier League, from when the Premier League changed their branding, so from 92 up to 2000, the average top spenders in a season, they were spending about £19 million every summer or every season when you add everything. In 2000, everything changed when Ferguson elevated his spending muscle and became the first manager, and the Man United became the first club to spend over £50 million in a single transfer window. They spent £58 million. Who did they go and buy? Ruud van Nistelrooy from PSV Eindhoven. £19 million. The same transfer window, one Sebastian Veron for £21 million. British transfer record. You know the funny thing about that season? Do you know who won?
2000.
Yes. 2000, 2001. Do you know who won?
Tell us.
The only man with the record and legacy that nobody will be able to touch. And he didn't build that record with money.
My own man.
Papa Wenger.
Yep.
Went a whole season unbeaten. Did it 49, only to be robbed by referees and Manchester United at Old Trafford. I watched that game as a United fan. And to today, I don't understand why we won that game. Robbed. Let's proceed.
Because of agenda.
2002, the following season, Ferguson goes to Leeds United there's a top-class centre-back who is troubling Premier League teams. His name is Rio Ferdinand. Ferguson goes to buy him for £22 million. Another British record.
Most expensive defender at the time.
The following season, and this is where the narrative, I say, you see, let's look at facts. People will come and try and change this one. And this story, you are hearing it from me, Daniel Koranteng, the biggest Cristiano Ronaldo fan in the history, in the whole world, nobody, past and present. Manchester United went to buy a superstar from Portugal, young boy by the name of Cristiano Ronaldo. They spent £13 million. Do you know, should I put into context? He was the most expensive teenager in the history of football at the time. £13 million for an 18-year-old. Now the story behind that deal is Arsenal had scouted him for months. And Arsenal had more or less had an agreement with Sporting Lisbon. But the money was less than Arsenal couldn't. Wenger, Charlie, where is he going to get £13 million for an 18-year-old? So Ferguson goes, bullies his way, and gets the boy for £30 million, most expensive teenager. The following season, Ferguson breaks that same record by buying the hottest English talent in the league, Wayne Rooney, for £27 million. 2 seasons later, Ferguson goes to Portugal. Under 20 World Cup superstar Anderson. He's in Porto. Ferguson buys him, 19-year-old, crashes Rooney's record. In fact, equals it. £27 million for Anderson. The following season, Dimitar Berbatov is in Tottenham Hotspur, troubling teams in the Premier League. Ferguson plucks him from Tottenham Hotspur. In fact, forced his hand. Tottenham actually wrote, they issued a written complaint to the Premier League on how Man United conducted themselves on that deal. Because Ferguson, whilst negotiations were going on, and the quotes are there, he went on publicly and said that Berbatov had agreed to come to Man United. Somebody's player. Somebody's player. Because you want to snatch him from Tottenham Hotspur.
Charlie.
£30 million.
Oh! Seminisi kaka me de me swa meji wuga. Sami edama na me saka wa me de meji wuga. Ova ya wuga meji wuga.
Is it this debate? This debate. Me, I don't think back again.
I absolutely love what that means.
In 2011,
I see you are noting things.
Ferguson goes on to buy David De Gea, a keeper who has had 1 season top flight experience in Spain. Was one of the hottest goalkeepers in Spain at the time. Real Madrid were watching him. Ferguson pays £18 million for him. Makes him the second most expensive goalkeeper of all time at the time. Yeah. £18 million. So if somebody tells you that Man U paid a bargain fee, it's a lie. He was the most expensive goalkeeper to come to the Premier League and the second most expensive goalkeeper of all time. Second only to Gianluigi Buffon.
Yeah.
Phil Jones. That same season,
Phil Jones, who has retired only yesterday
Manchester
from United,
paid £17 million for Phil Jones, making him the second most expensive teenager of all time, second only to Wayne Rooney. Another Man United signing.
So your point is, yeah.
No,
you have used 5 minutes to debunk the average that.
Isn't it more than 5 minutes? Like 10 minutes.
Okay.
Let me land. There's
like
more time
you put time for top.
There's
more time for you. Don't worry. Plenty time there. Let me put it into
That's
context.
why we started the debate early today.
Fantastic.
In the Premier League at the time,
yeah.
If you look at the financials of the various clubs, go to the Forbes richest teams list. Man United, Real Madrid. Man United,
in
Real
the
Madrid.
world.
Man United's financial power as compared to the rest of the English teams, the gap was so huge.
Yeah.
So United literally could walk into any club who to threaten them and take their star player, as I've read. Gathered his team with the biggest and the best players in England.
And the world.
And the world.
Yeah.
And was winning league after league after league after league after league. That false perception that he won his leagues and his Champions League with academy players, and this is the starting 11 for the team that played the 99 final. Schmeichel was imposed. He bought him. No academy player. Erwin, Johnson. In fact, let me just read the academy players. There was Gary Neville, Beckham, Nicky Butt, who wouldn't have started if Keane was fit. And then, what's his name? And Giggs. 4 academy players.
Class of 92.
Class of 92. The narrative is that the team was sort of built around these people. That's a big lie. That's a big lie. Roy Keane was a solid member of that team. The front two literally that was the best combination wise. Andy Cole and Dwight York, the kingpins of that team. Schmeichel, solid kingpin of that team. Yap Stam, the core of that team were not academy boys. The only one you can add is Scholes, because Scholes' suspension was talked more like, it was like if Scholes didn't play, Man U were in trouble. Yeah. So he was like a key guy. But when you go through Man United's teams over time, the core of the players in those teams were never academy boys. 2008, the starting 11 had one academy player in that team. It was Paul Scholes. The rest of them, $1 million buys. Ferdinand, Vidic, Evra, Carrick, Hargreaves, Ronaldo, Tevez, Rooney, money. So if you want to pin Pep down and say he's literally buying his way to the titles, this is what monopoly looks like.
You mean Ferguson showed him the way?
Ferguson showed him the way.
and taught him how to do it.
As football progressed, if you watch the final, the numbers are there, they are clear. When Abramovich's money came to Chelsea, it started changing.
Yeah, he blew the concept of normality apart.
Thank you.
Yeah.
There was now a third force. And you see, in all this, I'm not mentioning Wenger as somebody who was, because that is the true legend. That is a maker. He makes a way when there seems to be no way, as in Wenger. He makes championship winning teams with coins. Around the time Abramovich's money came, there was a change. Mourinho comes, he wins the league. Remember, the Barclay card deal had come. Sponsorship money, TV deal. Money started going around the Premier League. So we started seeing more foreign managers. We saw teams like Liverpool at the time. They went to pick Benitez. They could go and attract some of the top players around the world. Gerard Houllier. You go and look at even Tottenham. They went to pick, what's his name? Berbatov and Co. 2007, more Arab money came from Man City. Money is going around. So now more forces are being built. Fergie started struggling there. You understand? Now, he couldn't walk up to Man City and say, give me your star player. Because Man City don't need that money. Yeah. They don't need your money. They have money now.
Chelsea don't need your money.
Chelsea don't need your money. So the big teams will able to stand
don't need your
ground.
money.
Yeah.
Aston Villa don't need
And
your
that
money.
is-
Liverpool won't sell to you.
Don't sell to you.
Yeah.
That is the era that Pep Guardiola has found himself in. That Jose Mourinho found themselves in. Klopp has found themselves in. All of them are spending.
Yeah.
But there's no monopoly because nobody is crippling anybody to become a powerhouse. That is what Ferguson was doing. And that is a serious problem. Now when you look at even how he was winning, and that's just what even makes Pep the good. If you look at how Ferguson was winning the league titles, 79 points, 80 points. Ferguson's highest ever point tally was 92. Yeah. And that was a 42 game season. 42 game season. 92 points. Jose Mourinho came, his first season, he did 95. He broke it. He said, this is the record for here. 95 points, he broke it. When the Invincibles, Papa Wenger, he did it in a 38 game season. Yeah. He did what? 90 points that season. If you have played one more match, 93, we do record. Simple. That's my point. Look at the points tallies you were winning with. Whilst crippling your opposition, crippling your main rivals, you couldn't even win it clear. Pep has come. 93, 98, 100 points. Somebody is getting 97 points, they are not winning league. Somebody is getting 92 points, they are not winning league. That is the standard that Pep has taken the Premier League to.
Which is the teams that were respectively second in those seasons that you mentioned.
Pep Guardiola, before he came to the Premier League, you played some of the voice, but it's like maybe because of the accent people didn't hear. So I'll say it with my Ghanaian accent so that the locals can understand me. When Pep was coming to the Premier League, Ferguson said he's not sure he'll be able to replicate that side. The Premier League is not easy. 5 out of 7. We are doing 3 in a row on Sunday. That legacy that you say you've left behind, you boom. June 10, treble. We've equaled it. Sir Cecil Jones took with you while you're treble. Pep will become the second manager in history to do treble twice. What's his name? Jose Mourinho while you're treble. When you are talking about legacy and you want to be considered the GOAT, you have to do something that nobody can do. Nobody can do. Has anybody ever gone a season unbeaten? That is a legacy. And the man did it when his main rival was crippling him. 100 points. Where will be that? Oh, Larry, where will be that?
No.
100 points. The Centurions. You see, the people with legacy, they have names. The Invincibles. The Centurion. What is your name?
Fergie time.
The Treblers.
Fergie time. We have Fergie time.
Ferguson is a top guy. But when the thing is clear, you see, guy, I will not come and sit here and lie. My faith will not allow me to sit on this platform and lie.
No, now.
When I come on this very distinguished and prestigious platform, Joy 99.7 FM, this beautiful seat that I'm sitting on, I can't come here because my employees are paying me to come and be factual and objective.
Is that when you are sitting where?
In this beautiful place for me.
Joy 99 points.
I like it. I can't come and sit here and lie when the truth is staring me in the face.
Right, so please.
Basito
be whining now.
is not an employee. So maybe he will come and sit here and lie. So allow him to sit here and lie to you.
You see? No. Guy,
why are you
it's
setting,
okay.
why are you setting a man up?
Do you recall when we were doing debates in school, right?
Yeah.
When you are finishing, you have to throw a punch.
You have to throw a punch in
Just
there.
let them know that
So-
the judges will know that no, you what you're coming to do is very useless.
I agree. What Danny has done is to take Sitso's main protagonist, Sir Alex Ferguson, throw him under the bus, literally, and then build his own points. When he's finished, he's now setting you, the listener, up to not believe anything Sitso will say. Now, just like a lawyer will say, you see, in a grand jury, we tell the jury before the hearings begin, we admonish them that everything and every decision you make in this court should be based on the facts that you hear in this court. Don't let anything outside this court. And so that is what we will let our listeners know. Danny wants to instigate you against Sitso with external forces.
Listeners are listening.
Discerning listeners. But we know our listeners are discerning. You can tell when you are being baited. Anyway.
Joy 99.7 FM.
So Danny had 15 minutes to give his submission. Sitso, we have time.
Right.
You can do 5, 10, 15 as well.
So
lay your points.
I'll be brief because this matter is not a debate.
Hey!
There's no discussion.
Hey!
And I absolutely want to applaud Danny for making the work simple because he went over the whole period of Ferguson, praising him for having a good eye for quality players, signing them and making the most of them. You see, all the players Danny mentioned. And I'm even surprised Danny was actually hyping Ferguson's ability. Because the players he mentioned, Andy Cole, Berbatov, Roy Keane, everything. But all the players he mentioned, apart from maybe 4 of them, Anderson wasn't great because of his injuries, Phil Jones, Sebastian Veron, all of the other players that he spoke about. In that Man United team, when Ferguson have scouted them and have brought them in, the impact clear. That is a mark of a great coach anyway. So I'm just happy he was hyping Ferguson all over the place. But now let's go back to the main issue. And then he spent more time talking about Fergie than to tell us Pep and what Pep has really done for us to spend more time on Fergie, because sometimes you have to cripple the goods so that when you catch off the legs, he can stand on his knees and match up to the head of the bowed one. You see, if the goat is standing in his feet, or if you cut the leg, make it fall on his knees. Don't say you go visit that pay of the one that has the head. So he spends all the time catching Ferguson's. But let's talk about Sir Alex Ferguson. He's the person I want to talk about and tell you why, in my opinion, he's the greatest, or factually, he's the greatest Premier League coach ever.
Yeah.
To a large extent, the greatest football manager ever. You see, and I'm happy with the way he started. But I've always said that when people talk about SAF, the first thing they remember is Man United. And that is why when Danny speaks about the fact that Pep, there's a perception that he signed players and all of that. That perception, it is true. But I'll come to it. So let's focus on this started coaching for Man United. It's been something that has been consistent throughout his career. Ferguson is a fixer. And the most difficult thing to do in football is to build your own system. When I talk about system, it's not tactics.
Yeah.
the most important thing in football is to build a culture, a winning culture. Is to build an environment where, find a platform where people can thrive. When Ferguson started his coaching, I won't even go to St. Mary, and I'll start from Aberdeen, because St. Mary's have you won the division something there, but division something. But in Aberdeen, you see, people don't even know that Ferguson till now is the only coach in Scotland, in the Scottish division, that has won the league or the cup who hasn't coached Celtic or Rangers. Like in Scotland, it's like in Ghana. If Kotoko and House were winning every other season, and another manager wins with Ebusia Dwarfs, and it's been like 50 years, we're going to talk about that manager as he's the only manager to have won the Ghana Premier League or the FA Cup without coaching Kotoko or House. In Scotland, he's the only manager that has won the championship or the cup or the Scottish Cup without coaching Celtic or Rangers. He did it with Aberdeen. He still is the only manager to beat Real Madrid in an European final. He did it with Aberdeen in the Cup Winners' Cup. Now, the reason why I'm building the premise, we are talking about the premise, I want to build the premise from there. When he took over Aberdeen, Aberdeen were nowhere near dreaming of winning anything. But like I said, he's a fixer. He builds, and he himself will mold it from the ground. When Ferguson was in Aberdeen, at some point, he could wrestle with Celtic and Rangers to get some of the best players around Scotland. Do you know why? He had built the platform, gradually built a culture that could make money in terms of Aberdeen. So the money Ferguson is spending, he is part of those who made the money. And part of his coaching is to create an environment that makes money so that he can spend. Like there are different things. So there's a difference between a country is pumping money for every manager at a certain club.
Yeah.
There's a difference between in a certain club in a certain country, they monopolize everything. They have the money more than anybody, and somebody who helps make money, or he himself finds a way of making money. Ferguson made the money for Aberdeen so that they could spend and compete.
Yeah.
That is the reason why when Man United brought him in, they didn't bring him in into the Premier League to come and coach a team that was winning. They didn't bring Ferguson in to come and coach a team that had just made the Champions League semi-final from their previous manager, Pellegrini. They didn't bring in Ferguson to come and coach a team that had a Premier League winner from Mancini, an FA Cup winner from him, and a Premier League winner from Pellegrini. No.
Good point.
They brought him into a team that were on their knees. A team that was struggling. A team that was down, because they knew that it's not only Ferguson's ability is not only about winning in 90 minutes on the pitch or standing on the pitch and throwing his hand about like he was an economist. In fact, one of the first people who redefined coaching and turning into being a manager was Sir Alex Ferguson. Because he managed the club to the extent that the plotting in making money to spend, it was through him. Yeah. So when you only pick the spending part and you don't talk about how they made the money, you've missed the point. Yeah. You've absolutely missed the point. You see, that is why when you praise Arsene Wenger, I like it.
Yeah.
Because
Wenger is widely regarded as the second person who did it as successfully as.
If Wenger didn't even at the point agree that, Charlie, let's sacrifice the spending and build the Emirates.
Yeah.
Wenger could have probably won more than he won.
Agree.
So that is, so when you're talking about managers, that is the level. Coaching is different. We're talking about the greatest Premier League manager. If you like add coaching, and I'll come to that one too as well.
You have time.
Oh, time day. Yeah. I'll come to that one too as well. See, now Ferguson comes to Man United. The team is bad. Like, people don't remember. You see, Gen Z and Twitter babies, it is difficult for them to remember what Man United were like at the time when Ferguson came.
Please remind us.
The team wasn't good. The team wasn't winning. The team didn't have a culture. The team were full of old boys who thought that you didn't born a boy at
and a drinking culture and
drinking culture, partying, baby girls and things.
Who's men?
Ferguson walks into a club like Man United and says, Kodum, stopped. There was no culture at the club that gave them the platform to win. Now Ferguson from the scratch built it. Ferguson from the scratch. And for many years, Man United had not won the Premier League. They were not winning. He built it. Now when he built that platform and realized that, you see, I can't always trust that I can bring in players to come and do the job for me. So let me groom players in my own making. You see the way God was going to create the earth and say like, Charlie, call the angels and say like, listen, Charlie, the Jata is not like us. Catfish is not like us. Horse is not like us. Tilapia, no be like. So let us create something in our own image.
Kukurudu is not like us.
Perfecto. So Ferguson decides that instead of building a whole team of buying superstars, yes, I'll identify some people, which is part of management, identify some people who will help. But let me now focus on getting some of the best players around Greater Manchester, even go to London, and then bring them in, and then train them in his own image. Hence, class of 92. Now let me say this. From the time Ferguson started that project till the time he retired,
2013.
in every single year that he was successful, somebody from that culture was part, or people from that culture were part of the club. It's not as if he built a system that broke down. Throughout his successful period at Man United, from 92, coming down to the time he retired in 2013, the key people, his leaders, his people who could transmit his ideas were all coming from that class. That is a guy who has a vision, he has a plan, he knows exactly what he's doing. And look at the players he built. The greatest players in the history of the Premier League, all of them are there. David Beckham, Paul Scholes, Ryan Giggs. Nobody say something where their wives will get something like Premier League Hall of Fame. He's number one. He's number one. Yeah. Ryan Giggs is a bigger Premier League legend than Alan Shearer. Forget his goals.
Just take away the off-pitch issues and he's
yes. See, the boys like Paul Scholes, Ryan Giggs, David Beckham, Gary Neville, Phil Neville, Nicky Butt. Like, these are boys who Gary Neville, I never thought he was a good footballer. He managed, even though he knew he wasn't a proper footballer.
Yeah.
You see, I don't like coaches who can't coach people who in every class you will never have everybody being brilliant.
On the same level.
But great managers and great coaches are able to make people who are average a part of a good class.
Yes.
But some coaches, you don't know play, go throw you away, make you disgrace you. Even if you're a legend before you came, you tell people you can't play the ball with your feet, your heart. Go away.
Go away! Because you don't want to play.
Yaya Toure. You want to show power that even if you can sack Yaya Toure, then who are you?
Eto Entins. Zlatan Entins.
Charlie.
Deco, Ronaldinho, and
sack them all.
Because he doesn't have what it takes to blend people who are average with I don't know if he coach average players
like Sergio Busquets from the academy.
He wasn't average special talent
from Team B.
He was special talent.
But Sergio Busquets was special.
He's been special since
Messi. It's on record.
Yes.
When Pep brought Sergio Busquets from Team B to the first Barca training, Messi walked in, saw him, went to Pep and said,
this guy is the guy.
He said, this guy can play.
This guy is the guy.
Yeah.
The guy was special from Titi.
So,
Pep
says, I mean, he knew that, but he was not sure. But when Messi told him that this guy can play, that is when he knew.
Charlie, Pep used Rico Lewis 2 days now. He said, no, you don't train again. Go back to
the guy did it. Why did this?
The train without the training.
He did the first team inside.
He can't watch the training song.
No, he did the first team.
They can't watch it in place of.
But that's beside the point. Now, what Ferguson did, and it was great, was that.
Yeah.
You see, and what Muftawu and Danny said, it's not true. Ferguson wasn't buying from Chelsea. Even at the time that Chelsea were not Chelsea. He wasn't buying from Arsenal. He wasn't buying. He was buying from Spurs.
He wasn't buying from Liverpool. Yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't buying from Liverpool. He would never do that. So when he said that this era, Pep can't buy for Ferguson never bought from Liverpool. Which Liverpool player did Ferguson buy? Where Chelsea players at that time, and then no share for. Who he buy? Ferguson was buying players, good players, and you see at that time there were several good players in other teams. Ferguson would go there, buy them and make them great. You go and buy them and make them great. Now let me move on from that one and come to something that everybody underrates, that I hate. How long Ferguson stayed at Manchester United? See, when you are in one institution and you have to always remind yourself that you have to be successful, you can't be comfortable. It's about one of the most difficult things to do. Anytime you make a move, it's a new challenge.
Yeah.
When you are at the same place and you become a god and you become the one, Ferguson becomes Manchester United and he has to challenge himself to win. No manager can do that in the history of football. It won't happen. He was there for 26 years.
27.
If you like, make your guy try, make it see. Make it try, make your man, make it try.
Pep G, yo.
You do the work in 10 years. Don't worry.
No, I want him to stay there for 26 years and continue being successful.
No.
And continue. Wait.
Age-wise, they are not same.
What do you mean? How old is he?
Oh,
Ferguson retired from football when he was like, what, 67, 68?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
But your man, how old is your man? He just stay there for some more years.
No, it's boring.
That's one of the things. It can be boring. But you see, Ferguson was there for how long?
27 years.
And people also forget that when Ferguson came, his primary task was to take Liverpool off the dominance in the Premier League.
Knock them off their F pitch.
Accomplished it in his final season. Said,
See,
it was Ferguson couldn't coach.
Yeah.
The guy had ambitions. After his ambitions, he was like, I am done. The job I came here to do, right now, my soul and spirit can go and eat and drink and watch football for fun. I finished the Premier League. Ferguson has won the Premier League 13 times with Manchester United.
In 27 years.
Yes, in 27 years. And
That's
during,
terrible.
That is incredible.
That's terrible outcome compared to Pep Guardiola's 7 years.
No, I'll come to you and say Pep has done nothing. Let me tell you, when Ferguson was the coach of Man United, after almost every 3 years, there was a new competitor. People think this Pep era, it's not competitive. The Premier League is not competitive.
Because of Pep.
It's not because of Pep.
Then it's because of
It's because the other teams are not good enough. It's not Pep. Now come to it. When Ferguson was coach, first was Blackburn. He had to beat Blackburn to win the league. Newcastle then came. Right. He beat Newcastle to win the league. That's a different challenge. Then your man, Arsene Wenger, came with a different brand of football nobody has seen before. He came to win the league. Ferguson beat him to win the league. Then Abramovich and Jose came. 2 years he had not won. Ferguson re-strategized and beat them 3 times in a row to win the league. Then Man City got money. They came to win. He beat them to win the league and said, me, I'm done. Any challenger who comes, when you come and I see you, I'll beat you. That's what he did. When Pep came, who has challenged Pep? Like, the Premier League is so bad now. You see, when I talk about the Premier League being a famous league now, the Premier League is at its all-time lowest. At the moment,
they have they have more money, but yeah.
Yes, the quality-wise, Premier League is. It's not the Premier League of old where you have Arsenal. That was proper top 4. When you spoke about top 4, proper. These days you don't have top 4. You are playing top 4 and Spurs and Co are playing top 4. Are you serious? Those days, you have Arsenal, Chelsea,
Spurs gotta look after you.
No, they know. When Spurs get to top 4, they are happy. It's a trophy for them. We're talking about teams that, and those days, the reason why Ferguson, no team at the time could finish 90 points, 95 points was because no other team in the Premier League will allow you to win the number of games these teams are winning. They were that good as well. And Ferguson all the time had to beat those challenges to make sure that he was at the top. So when you finish 92 points, it doesn't mean that you are good though. You also have to check those you are competing against. Finally on Pep, you see, Pep has never had to build anything. Never. He's never had to build any culture, nothing. You see, shortly before Pep took over Barcelona, they were Champions League winners 2006. He came in 2009. Yeah. That is a winning club. They won the La Liga. When he came, he changed his style. It's coaching. As for coaching, you can bring your principles. You can change your style. But it was a winning club whose fans in that generation knew what winning was about. When Ferguson came, a whole generation had passed. They didn't know what winning was about at Man United.
They had been relegated from the 1970s, come from the first division, and there was nothing happening there.
Bro, nobody knew what winning was about. When Pep left Barca for Bayern Munich, Pep didn't go and teach Bayern Munich how to win anything. In fact, he went to fail them. Because the season before he went, they were treble winners.
With Jim Heynckes.
He went there and he went to actually downgrade their level. For 3 years, he didn't show them anything. There was nothing Pep did in Bayern that they had not seen before. In fact, at some point, they told him that his football is boring. That tiki-taka he wants to bring, they want to play high-flying wingers, and Robin and Ribery. Even the two players said Pep Casadodo. Then he comes to City. In a year that they were Champions League semi-finalists for the first time in their history. They've won the FA Cup before, Carabao Cup before, Premier League before, twice. Yeah. In that generation, the club was used to winning before he came. The club system and the club structure was set. Pep didn't build anything. He's a great coach. He came to build his team. But when it comes to culture, systems, Pep didn't do any of that. I want to see Pep go into a struggling team whose generation can't even remember the last time they won anything. And they make them make money. You see, Pep didn't make Barca make money. Yeah. They had their money. In fact, Pep can't remember Barca. all the Barca scandals started with Pep time.
Okay.
On the bomb, Pep didn't make money for Barca. He lost their money. Pep didn't make money at Bayern Munich. He lost their money. Pep is the reason why Bayern Munich don't have Toni Kroos. Otherwise, by now, that Bayern Munich made for Kimmich and Goretzka. If you have Toni Kroos in their solid, Pep is the reason why it's not there. Pep comes to Man City. He didn't make Man City money. They had money already. Ferguson, everywhere he went, he made them good. He was doing good. End of story.
This game plan. There isn't much to say, Charlie. I mean, this is why game plan is game plan.
I go. I get the scores.
I mean, I was prepared for this argument. I had read and debated and stuff. But me, self, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, they take me go school today. 05. The people have even stopped texting.
No, they are jotting down their points.
So, listeners, if you want to give me, hey, look, people have now started texting. People have now started texting. Let me read the LPMs because we have to go in a few minutes. Muftawu says he has the results. Let me read this, get his result, and let's get out of here. From 2011, with 12 celebration concerts to support over 70 contemporary gospel ministers in Ghana, the next generation gospel ministers are ready to treat you to another concert dubbed Celebration of a New Dawn. This year's concert features Quindalin, Che Mensa, Rafia, Laudable Home, JG, Kweku Kwame, Sonia Biekro, Kofi Nkrumah, Melody B, Mike Kessie, Lucien Nkrumah, Prince Danzel, Essie Hooper, Kofi Newell, Kevin Sasu, and Shadrach Mensah Kwesi. Date is Sunday, 21st of May at 4 p.m. Pastor Kojo Frimpong, PFK, will be hosting us at the ICGC Liberty Temple at the Shoman Estate. Note, it's absolutely free. For further inquiries for the Next Generation Ministers Concert and to support it, 0240 084722. That's 0240 084722. This project is powered by Christocentric.com and supported by Joy 99.7 FM. Also to say that Mr. Christocentric, Fifi's Forcing today is marking 17 years on radio.
17 years.
Today is his 17th anniversary on radio, Mr. Christocentric.
If Pep likes to stay at City for 17 years, you go see how this body is.
We beg.
It's okay. It's okay.
No stray bullets. Anyway, for over 50 years, Duraplast, your reliable partner for quality plastic products such as PVC and HDPE pipes of various sizes, have over the years progressed to become a leader in the plastic industry in West Africa and parts of Central Africa. Water Tank is here, the ultimate tank for water storage by Duraplast. Comes with an optional water level indicator that lets you know exactly how much water you have in your water tank. If it's 5,000 liters, it means 5,000 liters. And of course, it's very durable. Water tank. Remember, Duraplast, where it goes, water flows. Life is a dream. It is historic, iconic, and thrilling. Life is a Dream is a play birthed in Spain in 1635, caught the eyes of the world, and now in Africa, in Ghana, it's the Afrocentric edition that is done by Latif Abubakar. It's a Spain-Ghana production, and it will be live at the Accra International Conference Center on the 27th and 28th of this month. 2 shows each day, 4 p.m. and 8 p.m. 150 CDs. Dial this number to get your ticket. Star 447 star 1092 hash. That's star 447 star 1092 hash to grab your tickets, or visit at Latif Globe on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for details. You can get an early bird ticket for 100 CDs before the 19th of May. And don't forget that on Joy 99.7 FM, we are proud to be powering together with Joy Prime and Hits FM, Cues and Lyrics. It's your Sunday night, just getting more exciting. It's a music competition that aims at unearthing music potential in contestants while providing Joy Prime's cherished viewers the ultimate entertainment. Watch the 12 budding musicians as they journey to stardom. It's on Sundays, 8:30 p.m. only on Joy Prime. Cues and Lyrics, bring on the music. Joy Prime is the ultimate experience.
Joy 99.7 FM.
Time to call it a day. Muftawu, what do you have for us?
After the end of the debate.
No, but this is why you for do Twitter posts.
Twitter
posts.
No, let the people decide.
Are you suggesting that my scores are biased?
No,
you said I don't trust. Because you declared that you were yes.
True.
Let's any listeners post.
we can't let Muftawu because Pep is a what do you call it? Muftawu is a Pep sympathizer. He said. All right, let me read the final few comments and then go. This one says, per Danny submissions, Ferguson spent huge money on players, same as Pep. I 100% agree with Sitso's submissions too. Pep went to teams that have money and a great team after Barcelona. Okay, this is Lawrence. He says, Sitso, you do all. Oh, Chale! Oh, Chale! This one says, oh, Chale, I've been schooled, oh. Me too, I go take flex more. No, this is why this is Gameplan. This is why this is
hot tea bread.
Hot tea bread. Nah, this is why this is Gameplan. Now, he says, Gary, I greet you all. Danny had good points to debate, but his focus was on the other managers. To Ferguson, Pep is a good coach. EPL is not competitive enough. Bro. I agree with Sitso. 99 ideas from Charlie. Pep, Daniel should remember that Ferguson knocked a great team, Liverpool, off the pitch. They had not won the league for 26 years, and he built 3 squads, instilling a winning culture. Fergie's time alone is a legacy he left behind. This is from Nkrumah Boateng in Takwa. And that, guys, is how we end the show. Let me get a final comment. Guys, this is Joe Minutes. To simplify what Sitso said, let's compare the starting points of Jose and Pep in Roma and City respectively. I mean, for what they achieved in their early years. And you will know that Sitso is right about everything he said. All right, Charlie, thank you very much, guys. Danny and Sitso, you say?
Sitso is too much.
Twitter post.
Up until Francophone, he said Sitso be too much.
Sitso be too much.
Twitter post.
We'll do Twitter polls and look at the results later.
Fantastic.
With 3 minutes to go today has been a wonderful show. Charlie, wonderful show. Thank you to Muftawu for giving us correct backing vocals. He said,
Ask Danny the bad guy. Ask Danny to do it. Take it.
Nah, this is what a research show gives you, and we really appreciate the guys for bringing us such erudite analysis. My name is Gary Al Smith, sitting in for Fento Tahiru. We'll be back next week with more. Time now for Lexus Bill and Drive Time on Joy.